start. If you got any questions, guys, that you want to ask over the course of the podcast, or you want to come back to at the end, by all means, I will stick around after the podcast and we can do exactly that. So let's get started on the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Welcome back to the Better Body Academy podcast. This right here is the podcast that you come to when you are sick of the unsustainable diets and stupid programs that people are bringing in this fitness industry. We try to keep things very, very simple. And guess what? It seems to work. So in this episode, we're going to be talking about fixation on the scales, okay? I know this is a big thing for a lot of you. We're going to be talking about why chasing weight just keeps you stuck. And this is off the back of a conversation that I've just had with Alison, who is just one of our clients, just a remarkably beautiful girl. We're going to talk today to the person that has stepped on the scales and have let that number decide whether today is going to be a good day or a bad day. And for so many years, you've been stuck to this. What I want to talk about this episode is not weight loss. It's not calories. It's not training programs. It's not macros. It is the relationship that you have with the scales and why this is one of the biggest reasons that's stopping you from moving ahead with your life and your lifestyle and getting this working for you, not against you. A lot of people think they're failing every time they step on the scales. They just feel this like weight of failure. Now, I want to say clearly up front, okay? Clearly up front. We run a weight loss transformation program. There is nothing wrong with wanting to lose weight. Nothing wrong at all. It's a very healthy thing to do in most circumstances. There is nothing wrong with wanting to feel lighter and leaner and more confident about your body. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not the problem. The problem starts when the scale becomes the goal. The problem starts when the scale is the judge and it's the only scoreboard you're looking to measure the progress in your life. When that happens, you're no longer building something, you're just trying to get rid of something. Look, I remember hearing about this about 10 years ago, and it's really stuck with me. The core problem that humans have is that when it comes to anything in life, we are wired to find what we have lost. I want to let you sit with this for a second. When the goal is to lose something, you are subconsciously programmed to find it again. Think about it. You lose your keys, you go looking for them. You lose your phone, your brain becomes obsessed and you can't think about anything else but trying to find your phone and where it is. Loss creates search behavior. So when your identity is wrapped up every day in losing weight, what do you think happens when the weight is gone? Your brain goes, hang on, something's missing. And eventually, often even without you realizing this, you go and find it again. This is why so many people live in this brutal loop of lose weight, celebrate, relax, life hits them again, weight creeps back up, they panic, they slash calories, they go harder, rinse and repeat. Do you know how many times I speak to people who said, I can do it because I've done it before? They think that that's a statement of great success. It's not a statement of great success. You saying that you've done it before so you can do it again means that whatever you did before to get the weight off didn't work because you're not still doing it. You didn't create a lifestyle around this. You just lost weight for a period. I can do that by taping my mouth shut. You will lose weight. Does this make sense, guys? They question themselves constantly. I just can't stay consistent. I always mess this up. I'm good for a while and then I fall off. In most cases, this isn't a discipline problem, right? This is the problem of chasing loss instead of building a life. Now, something that I've witnessed is something I call the nostalgia trap. How many of us do this? Our weight loss goals or our weight goals aren't about the future, they're about the past. I want to be the weight that I was at 21. I want to be my pre-kids body. I want to look like I did before my career took over. I want to be the weight I was when I played sport 5 days a week. I want to be what I was before I went through menopause or before my testosterone started to tank. Every one of those versions, you lived in a completely different life, a completely different world, different schedules, different sleep, different priorities, different biology. And yet we set our goal based on a life that we no longer live. And then we wonder why we're struggling. That's not ambition. That's nostalgia. And nostalgia is a terrible, terrible coach, because trying to go backwards, it stops you from creating a lifestyle that actually works for you now. You're not failing because you can't recreate the past. You're failing because you're stuck to the past. Let's talk about the happiness lie. I'll be happy when I hit this weight number that I've got in my mind. I want you to let me know in the comments and be honest about it. How many of you have an arbitrary number, which is like a number that you want to get to, which is, sorry, just doing something on this, guys. A number that you want to get to, and it's just stuck in your mind. And it's almost like, I'm going to get there, I'm going to get there, I'm going to get there. Once I get there, I'm going to be happy. Confidence will arrive. My motivation's going to skyrocket. Life will just feel lighter. I want to tell you a story about one of my clients, who is an amazing woman, by the way. She lost 30 kilograms at 60 years of age. She had a very specific number in her head, okay? She was that number when she was 30 years old. Now she's 60, and she went after that number. She didn't have any kids, so she had plenty of time and a pretty low-stress lifestyle. And she carried on just adamantly at this number. She worked so hard to get to it. She was so consistent, and everyone looked at her and went, oh my God, she's just so inspiring. And guess what happened? The day she hit that number that she had in mind, all of the time that we worked together, she told me it felt amazing for about 30 minutes. And then something strange happened. She felt worse than she did before when she was overweight. And the reason for it was because she thought that hitting this number would make her infinitely happy. And when it didn't, it actually increased her despair. She realized that there was something fundamentally more wrong when her problems didn't disappear when she hit this weight loss goal. And worse, she'd realized that she'd been chasing it all these years, thinking it was going to deliver this like incredible happiness. And guess what? It didn't. It just, the gap didn't close. It actually exposed it. The real issue is that we've got this shrinking life plan. Here's the truth most people don't want to hear about. Shrinking your body is not a purpose. It's not a life direction. Losing weight is a good thing in most cases for most people who are overweight, but it's not something that you can build meaning on. And when your entire goal is to become less weight, less size, less mass, you eventually run out of road, right? There's nowhere for you to go. But what happens when you get there? What do you do then? There's no next chapter. That's why people regain the weight, or they stay lean and completely unfulfilled on a really low level of calories where they're constantly hungry all the time. This goal was never designed to support your long-term identity. So I want to present to you a reframe that I think is really, really important, particularly when you get over the age of about 40. What do we do instead? We flip the whole thing on its head. And instead of asking, what do I need to lose? How many kilos do I need to lose? We ask, who am I becoming? Instead of chasing a number, some arbitrary number from the past, we design a lifestyle for our future. One that fits our job, our kids, our stress levels, our energy levels, our hormones, our age, that has, it's based in reality. And this is when all the metrics start to make sense, because they're not loss-based metrics. They are growth-based metrics. Rather than chasing a loss, we're trying to build something. And of these metrics, the primary metric that I would suggest that strongly you should be chasing after 40 is strength. I believe that strength is the one metric that matters more than anything. Not because it just looks cool or it feeds your ego, because the decline of the human body starts with strength loss. We lose muscle mass through a process called sarcopenia. It's just a fancy word that means muscle loss associated with aging. It's gonna happen whether you like it or not. The question is, how fast? If you've seen people decaying towards the middle to the end of life, you know exactly what sarcopenia looks like and how the degradation of quality of life just starts immediately with that. Muscle isn't just about looking fit. Muscle is about metabolism, it's about bone health, it's about stability, it's about independence. Being strong leads to functionality. Being weak leads to mobility loss. And as soon as you start to lose your mobility, you see a drop in the quality of your life. And that happens quicker if you do nothing about it. So the hard question is, what's the point in living longer? What's the point of living longer? What's the point of living longer if you're weaker and more fragile and less capable every single year? What's the point? Longevity without strength, that's not freedom. That's just, imagine just like your life is just sitting there on a fucking chair because you're too weak to get up. It's survival. Strength is what gets you up off the floor, gets you out of bed, carrying groceries, traveling around the world, picking up your kids or your grandkids, living life without worrying about falling over and your body failing you. And then we talk about, for people in that sort of 40 to 50 year age range, when testosterone starts to tank for men, menopause kicks in for women, it starts to accelerate. This loss of functionality starts to accelerate. So your ability to build muscle now versus in 10 years, it's much harder. Muscle is a hedge. If you understand investing, muscle is a hedge for the future. It's an insurance policy. It's an investment against future weakness. And to those of you that are still fixated on weight, muscle is an insurance policy against future weight gain. How is that true? Because when you build muscle, guess what? Your metabolism goes up, meaning the amount of calories that you're burning when you're just sitting there doing nothing on the lounge is higher. So if your calories being burnt are higher when you're doing nothing, that means you can eat more, drink more, move less, and get away with it. If you have a very weak, slow metabolism because all you did was focus on weight and not on building muscle mass, what ends up happening, you might get to your weight loss goal. And guess what? Now you've got to eat this pitifully low level of calories and be starving all the time and be weak because your metabolism is so slow. Your body doesn't need the extra calories. So the moment you have a binge, bang, all the weight comes back on again. Fixating on these weight goals holds you back. It keeps you mentally anchored to the past. You stop moving forward. You stop expressing what your body can actually do now. If you want growth, and what does growth look like? It comes from capability, from confidence, from strength, from progress that you can see, not just a scale number. And let's talk about, while we're on it as we close this out, like what actually makes people happy? When you think about it in your life, like I can talk to this in my own life. I'm very happy with how I look, but I'm not happy because of how I look. I'm happy because I've built an identity that I am proud of. I'm happy because I am growing and educating myself at 43 years of age. I'm happy because I continue to be ambitious and push myself. When I did my cut last year and got a ripped fucking six-pack, I did not feel any sense of more happiness. I just felt hungry. Like I felt fucking hungry. So the warning sign is, what if this thing that you were chasing like a fucking dog with a bone, like the greyhound at the racetrack that just keeps chasing the rabbit for years and years and years and years and years until it can't race anymore? What if that thing that you are chasing, you finally got it, and then you realized it didn't make you any more happier? Imagine you wasted that much time. I am not saying that you shouldn't want to weigh less, but your insistence on this arbitrary number that you kind of have from a different life that you used to have is keeping you in that previous life. You're not the same person anymore. And that's a good thing, not a bad thing. Yes, weight loss can still happen, but as the byproduct, as the side effect, not the purpose, not our North Star. So if you've been fixated on the scales, I want you to hear this. You're not broken. You're not failing. You're measuring the wrong thing, though. Stop asking, how much do I weigh? I was talking to Alison earlier on, and I said, you understand, right, that if you build muscle, that weighs something, right? You can't build muscle and it doesn't weigh something. So if you build muscle and stay the same amount of body fat, it's going to show up on the scales. You do realize that you guys that keep saying, I need to hit my 3 liters of water a day, you do realize that if you start hitting consistently 3 liters of water instead of 2 liters of water, you will weigh a kilo more, right? Because 1 liter of water is a kilo. So if all you do is change nothing, but you drink a liter of water more a day, you will weigh a kilo more while that liquid is in your body. So yes, it's fine to have a weight loss goal in mind, but getting fixated about it and not instead focusing on something that is ambition, growth, like getting stronger. If you could move your primary metric to getting stronger, your life will infinitely improve. If you could ditch the scales and just say, you know what, I'm just going to make this year, 2026, about getting stronger. Here's what would happen. Firstly, you'd get stronger. But secondly, you'd put yourself into a calorie position that's much further ahead of where you are now. And guess what? You might not lose weight for the whole year. But imagine in 6 months' time, rather than cutting to try to get the fat off from a measly number of calories that you're at now, imagine because you built more muscle over the next 6 to 12 months, you were cutting from an extra 3 to 5 to 700 calories above where you are now, because now you've built more muscle and your body needs those calories. Now, when you go from 2,600 calories back down to 1,800 as a cut, the fat falls off you, even if you're 50 years old. But if you're trying to cut from 1,500 calories down to 1,000 calories and wondering why nothing's happening and how you just keep rebounding, that's the problem. The focus is in the wrong area. And so I just wanted to kind of double down on this message to our clients today and say, hey, you know what? Like, we run a weight loss program. That is a goal. Like, it is a goal. But don't lose sight of the bigger picture of why you're doing this. Losing the weight's not going to make you happier. Okay? How about you think tonight about what is your goal? What's your actual thing that you're trying to achieve? Is it that you want a better life? You want to feel better as far as your mental health. I'm thinking of the people that I saw watching this podcast at the start, right? I know a few of you. This is about mental health, right? This is about being a better dad or a better mum. This is about how the hell do I navigate this menopause thing? These aren't going to be fixed by focusing on a weight loss goal. Weight loss will happen as a consequence of you building a lifestyle here. That takes time. It's not something that you're going to be able to see next week between 2 dot points in time. We have to look at the trend and start paying attention to metrics like my strength, my energy levels, my sleep quality, my consistency in life, my ability to get out of bed in the morning, the amount of pain that I'm suffering. These are metrics that actually give you a little bit better feedback about how you're doing and perhaps what you can work on next. Guys, I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully this was a helpful reminder. This has been the Better Body Academy podcast, coming to you for another episode. I'll see you in the next one. And as we approach 450 episodes, if you haven't yet subscribed, you can go over to the Better Body Academy podcast on all podcast platforms. Leave a review here, and if you would like me to do episode, comment an episode, something that you think would be good to talk about, or send me a DM. And if I can get my head around how to best address it, I will. I'll see you guys in the next. Peace. All right, team. Let's get over to the comments. Hello, Wayno. How are you, mate? Look at all these guys. Hey, Jimmy. Jimmy says, I have a number, but I'm more looking at how I look. And I think that's a really good frame shift, Jimmy. I think the one thing that you want to be mindful of is, just like weight, the mirror can play some really big tricks on you. Okay. Sometimes I'll look in the mirror and honestly, I'll go, oh, you look fat today. Like I'll say that. And then I have to correct it because I'm like, the fuck? I look fat today? What is it? Like, I didn't change overnight. What I know is the mirror is playing tricks on me. The mind is powerful. And this is why my favorite phrase is about transformation is, this is very, very simple, but it's not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy because there are these mind games that were being played on. I like the idea of taking those photos and trying to look at them a bit more objectively, Jimmy, is a very, very good idea. Few kind of comments from the girls group is blowing up. At the start I did, but now I'm not. And Christine, and what's really interesting is the weight. Like what's crazy to me is as soon as you stop thinking about the weight, as soon as you stop paying attention to the weight, anyone notice what happens? You start losing fucking weight. Like it's mental how it happens. It's because you're just not getting so fixated on that same thing. I'll give you an example from my world, right? Once upon a time when I was very new at this and I was focused on, holy shit, like I've just been sacked from my job. I need to make money. I need to make money, right? Now I don't even fucking think about money. Literally, I do not think about it. What do I think about? How can I give more value? How can I give more value? How can I do more? How can I do more? Just one more podcast, just one more post. And guess what? Money happens as a consequence of that. It's not a prerequisite. For all of those of you that are like, I need to get motivated. 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 You don't get motivated. You don't get motivated. Motivation happens after you've done the thing, right? You feel motivated because you're like, fuck, man, I just did a PB in the gym. Oh my God, like I just did. And the motivation happens as a consequence. You shift what you're looking at. It's incredible. Tracy says 100%. Hey, Suze, how are you, mate? Pete says, absolutely hits home with what you're saying. I definitely don't want to be old and weak. And the thing is, Peter, like let's call a spade a spade. One of the challenges is that if we're sitting here at, say, 45 years of age, we're not thinking about what we're going to be like at 65 years of age, right? So that is a really tough thing to kind of get around our head. But again, if you can come back to this idea that the law of unintended consequence will be that if you focus on strength, fueling your body, all these positive slants on things, strength, fueling your body, recovery, guess what's going to happen? You'll lose weight as a consequence, 100%. Nat says, I want to keep dancing and singing to my last breath. Bang! Kaz, there's been a switch in you. I used to, but for the last 3 months, it changed. I want to be strong and muscular. So what the reason for that change is, Kaz, I don't know. But guess what? I can see it in the way you're showing up inside of our client group. If you're watching on Instagram, you've got no idea what I'm talking about. I'm answering this. This is our client group, right? So this is what happens, Kaz. You switched your focus, and now what are you doing? You're addicted to putting up form videos so the coaches can critique what you're doing. So what happens is you correct the function, the form, right? You get better at the form, you get better at doing the movement. Guess what happens when you get better at doing the movement? You get stronger. Guess what happens when you get stronger? You build more muscle. Guess what happens when you build more muscle? You get more confident. Guess what happens when that happens? You burn more calories and lose fat. And you stop trying to. Nikki says, more food, yay. 100%, 100%. Muscles drive our TDEE, Troy says. Coach Troy, chasing the scales makes you controlled to it for your self-worth. Oh my God, that is my motto. Strong mentally and physically. What a great motto, Trace. Superb motto. Did you just tap into my brain, Nat? Yes, I did. Kylie, I mean, you're another classic example, man. Like something switched in you. I don't know if it's you and Kaz kind of did some team job or something like that. Something has switched in you over the last month. Like you guys are fucking on fire. And it's because like that you always will be drawn back to the scales. I get it, right? I get it. But then when you realize that that's happening, you go, well, okay, I caught myself again. The awareness is the first step. I caught myself again. Stop. Focus on the right thing. Focus on the right thing. Focus on. I still slip. I still slip all the time. Let's keep coming back. Sanet says, thanks. My pleasure. Awesome. Thanks, Caroline. I hope it's helpful. Anna Maria, beautiful, babe. Hey, Megan, thank you. Michelle says, yeah, I haven't lost weight, but man, I feel stronger. And I can do things I couldn't do months ago. People have said I look stronger. And this is the thing, Michelle. Guess what? Right? If you're really setting this up for a lifestyle, right? Just focus on be okay with not losing weight. But guess what? If your calories start to go a little bit higher at any time, we can just go and just put the brakes on and do a calorie cut. If you've got a roaring metabolism, guess what's going to happen? You're going to be able to pull a calorie cut at any point in time. But if you're on 1,200 calories a day and just doing cardio, it's just not going to happen. Suze says, my granddaughter asked me to pick her up on Saturday. She's now only 3. She's not, but I did it easily. That's the shit there, Suze. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. What else we got in our free group? So I want to be healthy, Jody Reese says. Yeah, 100%. Les, Jace, makes sense. It does, man. Hey, mate, always keeping the goal in mind and working towards that. You taught me this. Well, you've taught me a lot as well, Pascal. I mean, your transformation is stupid, mate. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Tam, yeah, me too. I'm really not much concerned. I was fixated. Tam, you were. Of a lot of people, Tam, you were. And guess what? You're going to have these moments, Tam, where that old you is going to come back, right? Because it's just like it's the loss, right? Oh, the old me, the old me, the old me. Oh, where's the sky? You're going to have to, it's going to be a battle for a while of where we're trying to push that to the side. But what I saw the other day from you when you put up your form video, Tam, I was like, her form is amazing. Like, it's really solid. Dude, keep working on that. Keep going down that channel. Monique says, I'm finally becoming a gym person. Never thought. I mean, no. There's two types of people. There's gym people and people that criticize gym people until they go into the gym and realize it's actually the best thing in the world. It's the thing that changes your life. I'm telling you, get strong, get strong, get strong. If you're on Ozempic, get strong. If you're going to have weight loss surgery, get strong. If you're going to be a better parent, get strong, get strong, get strong, get strong. It is the thing. All right, I'm going to stop the rant, guys. I just get so passionate about this stuff because I know Oh, check this out, right? So I had on the weekend, I'm just going to finish off with this story. I went up to meet two of the boys from Brisbane on the weekend. I was just sitting there after a coffee. Some random guy walks up to me and he says, Jace, you've changed my life. Not a client. I'm like, thanks, man. Like, what do you mean? And he's like, I've followed everything that you've done on Facebook. I've never paid you before, but today I woke up and I said, like, it was fucking crazy. And he goes to me, I woke up and I thought to myself, I've got to send this guy an email or a message or something just to thank him for the information that he puts out. And I'm from bloody Toowoomba. I come into Brisbane for the day and you're just here at this cafe. Like, what the fuck? Divine intervention. Can I give you a hug? And I'm like, yeah, man, with this 50-year-old dude on the side of the road. It's like, oh, the message when you unlock this shit in your head, it just becomes a different story. And this is why I'm so passionate about it because, anyway, I'm out of here. I'm going to, my wife's downstairs waiting to be picked up to the grocery shopping. On that note, we're going to go and buy a bunch of the pre-made meals. We have been living off pre-made meals. Trick for our clients. I'm going to tell you what we've been doing. Okay. We've been getting My Muscle Chef meals, or what are the other ones? I can't remember what the other ones are called. They're good, but they're a little bit too small, right? So a little bit too small for me. I need a bigger meal. So what I'm doing, guys in the men's group particularly, for the ladies, you might feel like the meals that are like 500 and 600 calories are okay, but my meals are going to be more like 700, 800 calories. And so what I'm doing, guys, is I'm buying the My Muscle Chef meals. They're like $8, $9. And then I'm just buying the pre-made breast chicken and just throwing that into the sauce. So I don't have to worry about cooking all of the nice sauces up and stuff like that. Just add some extra protein to it. And it ends up costing what, like $12 a meal or something like that. But I don't have to cook, literally put it in the microwave for 4 minutes and it's done. We are loving it. So hot tip for today. Nat says, buy a house in Australia. Not even joking, Nat. Claudia is pretty much one. She started checking out schools today on the on the Gold Coast. So yeah. Jody says, what if you feel too old and intimidated to go in a gym? Well, there's two ways you can approach that, Jodes. You could go with a friend who's not intimidated. You could start training at home with dumbbells, which would be completely fine. You could start training with resistance bands, which could be completely fine. You could go to a women's only gym. You could do what Terry Holden did, which signed up to Better Body Academy. And on his very first day, he thought, you know what? If I'm going to do this, I'm going to pay for this. I'm going to go all in. And he just went down at 50 years of age, never done a gym membership in his entire life, and just signed up for a year. I mean, there's a billion different ways. I want you to think about what you're scared of when you say you're intimidated, Jodes, is you are scared of looking like an idiot. But when you realize that all of the people that are in the gym, they're just like you. They're too worried about themselves and their self-consciousness. They're in there trying to get better. They don't care. Like, honestly, I'm going to say it to you in a very sobering way, Jodes. You are not that important. If I'm doing a gym session, let's just pretend you see me as like gym bro in the corner, okay? The reality is, Jodes, I'm way too invested in my own self and doing my thing to even notice what you're doing. Like, honestly. And if you walked up to me, Jodes, and you said, hey, I have no idea what I'm doing. Could you just show me how to use this machine? I would say 1,000,000% I would. And I reckon 90% of people that were in the gym would absolutely love to help you. So it's kind of like, it's a win-win, Jodes. Don't live for other people, mate. All right, guys, I'm getting out of here. I've got to go do the thing. See you guys. Love yous. Peace.